What is up, everybody? It's your boys Patrick and John. We just got back from seeing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the newest installment in the POTA franchise. And man, let me just say, I went into this ready for another really good bad movie, and I have some thoughts. Patrick, you
Oh,
wanna you wanna give your little teaser? You wanna give the crowd a little tease?
yes. As a, I think we both agree. I'm a bigger fan of the reboot trilogy than you are.
Not
Um,
the originals though. You not the originals. I love those.
I mean, I like those two, but I'll let you have those. I think Dawn. Okay, no, I always get this mixed up. The second two in that trilogy are phenomenal movies. I really like those. So going into this, just making a fourth movie of this, maybe concerned, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
I don't know.
definitely when this was announced, I was like, we already had the originals and the failed reboot, and then a trilogy that ends pretty well. I was like,
hmm
where does the story go? Is it warranted that we go back for another? And let me just say, about 15 minutes into seeing this movie, I'm sitting in my theater chair. I'm going, is this the first S tier Planet of the Apes? Like, holy shit, this was good.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay,
no,
okay.
I loved this movie. I tried really hard to pull apart stuff. The biggest flagrancy I could find is I didn't like the human plotline. It's not even
Mm,
bad. I just
hmm
personally don't want to go down that road, but it's not bad.
mm, okay. Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar line of view. I think it sounds like you might be a little higher than I am. I really like this movie. And the name of my review for today is I was pleasantly surprised. You got this guy coming in, Wes Ball. He's coming in to direct this movie. What else has he done? The Maze Runner trilogy, and that's really
Ooh.
about it.
Ew.
And I that didn't give me a lot of hope. It didn't give me a lot of faith. And then when I hear he's doing the Legend of Zelda movie after this, it's like, oh shit, what? We're gonna get a bad Apes and we're gonna get a bad Zelda movie. No, he I think he did really well with this. I think this is a really good movie. I
Let
don't
me
think
ask
it
you this.
matches.
Okay,
Okay.
no, go on, go on. You're Mike gonna answer it.
Okay. I was gonna say that I don't think this quite reaches the heights that the second of the reboot trilogy does for me.
I
That
was
being said,
actually just about to say this is my favorite installment, originals included. I
hmm
loved this one.
yeah, no, and I honestly I can't even be mad at that because I really did enjoy my time with this movie. I was just so pleasantly surprised the entire time. There
Mm-hmm.
are a couple of get hype moments that I just had this huge smile across my face. I'm
Yep.
like, let's go. It was cool. It was great.
But like essentially this plot was just a rehash of Battle for the Planet of the Apes to a certain extent.
hmm
But I even so, I think they did it better. I think they pulled it off. I think the ending was a little messy. But
hmm
again, I think it was messy so we could validly set up the sequel. That being said, it doesn't detract from the movie. I loved it. The actual climactic battle. I just big fan of Ape, no kill Ape, so I love that we've got to defeat these other guys, but obviously we can't have the good guy killing them because that defeats the whole purpose of we don't kill.
hmm
But at the
No, I
same time,
love that.
oh my god, like this climactic battle in particular, hated getting there. Once we were there, I had such a fun time with the gorilla, with
hmm
Proximus was his name.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Uh, the only thing I didn't like was the humans, and I don't think they were even necessarily bad. It's a direction they're going in that I just wouldn't have gone in directing this movie.
Yeah, so I think before we go further, I think we will be spoiling. I think we've got our initial thoughts. If
Yep.
you haven't seen this movie, go see it. We're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
spoil
definitely
shit.
initial thoughts ending because I can't hold back.
No, 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 no. Because yeah, you touched on some things that really
Yep.
I really want to talk about. Um, Mainly the climax. I think. Well, actually, no. Let me touch on the humans first,
Yeah,
because
let's
I might
get to the
disagree.
climax.
Yeah, I might disagree with you a little bit with the human stuff. I
Okay.
think everything with May, the way that her story and her mystery kind of unfolded, had me intrigued the entire time. Like, why is this girl following
Mm-hmm.
Noah? What's her deal? And then she slowly revealed, like, the moment when she's in the tall grass and she stands up and says Noah's name for the first time, I'm like,
Yep. Yeah,
oh.
I don't disagree. That was a pretty hype moment right there. Is like, oh shit.
hmm And I think they follow that up. I forget if it happens before that or after that, where they go into the observatory and they
That's
both look into
before.
the telescope. Okay. And I almost called him Caesar. Noah's telling Raka, he's like, she had the same expression as me.
Mhm.
She's learning, or something along those lines. I'm like, this movie's so fucking good. Everything
Yeah, no, I
I
like
like.
all of that. I'm following. That was
Hmm.
all really great moments.
Yeah, yeah, and I think once you add William H. Macy into the mix, I think it takes another interesting turn where you have someone who's trying to bring back humanity and someone who's kind of content with where he is in life.
Hmm.
And to see them kind of that eventually come to head, I think that probably could have unfolded a little bit better, but I do like that twist, that angle of it.
See, I would if this was like, 2 generations after Caesar, but it's
Hmm.
many. Like, the cities have been overtaken, buildings are collapsed, wilderness has reclaimed the world. This girl's got to be like 5, 6, 7, 8 generations removed from when humans ruled the planet. Like,
Hmm.
8 generations from now, we would not be the same people we are today. I don't know. I feel like if civilization collapsed, we'd stop trying to rebuild and just kind of do like the librarian did and just fall into this. This is our place in the world now.
Hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
don't disagree with humans want to fight back. But it's like how many of you are left and how much technology do you still have that we don't know you're here? I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
the humans would be more diminished by now. I'm tired of having to deal with them. Let it be the planet of the apes.
Hmm.
That
Well,
being
I don't.
said, I'm sorry, not
Hmm.
done yet.
Yeah, yeah.
When May revealed she can speak and she's looking in the telescope, I was really hyped. Even when she had full sentences, I was like, "Oh, you really are as smart as the apes." And then it's revealed they're like fully regular, still normal humans who understand the written word and
Hmm.
full comprehension of the English language. I was like, did you go to school? I thought you were surviving in the wilderness with your mom. And then it's revealed we have this whole underground camp, but why did we send a child to go do this instead of anyone else? It fell
Hmm.
apart for me when it was revealed she was on a mission to bring humanity back. That being said, I do like that we've teed up in the next movie. We got Noah leading the apes, May with the humans. They're very good friends. They have a connection, but they're on opposing sides of a war. I do like that aspect. I just don't like the humans.
Hmm. Yeah, and I'll agree with you, I think, because I think the director himself said it's many generations, like 300 years about, is what the
Yeah,
director said.
I don't feel like
And
the humans would still be putting up
yeah.
a fight or have anything left to put up a fight with.
And I think it became a little bit more jarring when we saw those humans standing in the river, like grazing with
Mm-hmm.
the zebras and stuff. It's like, well, that's what I would expect humans to be in this
Yeah,
age.
no,
That's what
I'd
they
be fine
are.
if we had those, or even
Hmm.
like an ape clan of humans, where it's like we still have basic metalworking, we have shelter, we can
Hmm.
harvest medicinal. I'd be fine if there was a tribe of humans, but this is just like real societal humans
Yeah, it does. I
in
think it is legitimately.
clothes with
in-
like the world
Yeah.
has collapsed. You spent time learning how to program computers and technologies. You didn't like look for food. You have clean clothes. Sorry, I didn't think I hated them this much, but now that I'm saying it out loud, they really bothered me with that last scene.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of a leap you got to make with that for
Yeah.
sure, because it did stick out to me. It's like, well, this feels like modern, like our modern
Yeah,
time,
no,
like
this feels
technology.
like the world just went ape overnight.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be 300 years. So yeah, there's a little bit of a disconnect there for me as well. I won't even argue that. But I do like the direction it's going where you have,
Hmm.
like you said, two
Yeah.
people that were friends. They're kind of on edge with each other. They kind of don't trust each other fully. That might be one of my favorite parts about this movie is how their
Yeah.
relationship changes and evolves over the movie.
So I
Um,
loved the part where she
yeah.
was like, I was wrong not to trust you. I know that now. And then
Hmm.
the next scene, she's got a gun behind her back and she's just like, I still don't
Yeah.
trust you.
Hmm.
But yeah, I
It's
mean,
yeah.
obviously the apes win. I'm so fine with that. Not a huge fan of the conflict being set up, but I love the way it's being set up. These two
Hmm.
opposing lead forces fighting for their own survival. But yeah, and that's the weakest part of the movie. Everything else really checked every box for me.
Mm.
Orangutans still my favorite species of ape to follow. What was his name? Raka?
Rocka, my
Yeah,
boy.
Raka, fantastic character.
He's
Just
one of my favorite
really
parts.
well written, hilarious. he's got such a strong conviction. They did him
Hmm.
so well in a role that a lot of movies they just dropped the ball on that character. But they played him so well, loved him.
Yeah, I agree. He was a strong point for this movie for me as well. I think the way that the actor was able to like, speak and then the motion capture they had, like the motion capture in
Hmm.
general for a lot of the apes was really good in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the performance that the actor delivers as Rocco was really strong. And it's like,
Yep.
well, I just really want to chill with this guy. I just want to like have a drink with this orangutan.
It's like I'm not trying to talk myself up here, but just
Hmm.
watching him, he's vaguely similar to how I would respond if I, lived in a world where I was the dominant species and there's some simpleton ape. He throws him apples
Hmm.
in a blanket. He's like, look, it's scared. Just let it come up to us. I'd absolutely vibe with this guy.
Hmm.
But him, the whole like still following the original teachings of Caesar, who's gone
I
from
love
king
that.
to Jesus figure,
Hmm.
loved that so much. Really
Yeah.
did.
No, I love the symbol that they used that he had on the necklace and he
Yep.
saw on the paint on the side, like just the callback to the window in Caesar's room in the first movie. It's just awesome. I love that.
I love their
Um,
misconceptions about history. Like, we believe Caesar built this as a pen for the humans, where they'd travel
yeah,
in herds, and it's like an airport or something.
yeah,
Got a
yep.
kick out of that for sure.
Yeah, that was a good setup too when they're in the bunker and they find that picture book and they see the chimp behind bars in a
Hmm.
zoo and they're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
So a lot of good setup there. It was a good comedic beat as well. Um, yeah.
But yeah, so as much as I love Rocco, what I really got to talk about is the father son dynamic in this movie.
Mm,
So I love it. We see Noah. He goes home. He sees his mom, and we can tell they're very close immediately. They've got a very good relationship.
hmm.
And then we see him kind of dreading to go to his dad, and his mom's like, "Don't worry, he loves you." And I'm thinking maybe he's gonna be like a real hard ass dad, like, "Oh, you're not the son I wanted." But no, I mean his dad very clearly loves him too, but at the same time you can tell there's some disconnect where they love each other, but they don't quite get each other. They're not
Hmm.
anywhere near as close, despite being father and son. And Noah wants to make his dad proud, and his dad is proud of him, but they both just aren't able to communicate this. And that is just such a tangible relationship. I mean, not
Hmm.
trying to psychological deep dive, but it's so relatable. It really
Hmm.
is.
Yeah, that was a like I knew the story was going with him and his dad, but what I didn't expect was it to kind of be carried on through the bird that
Yeah.
was with Noah the rest of the
I
movie.
figured we'd have some kind of like when he proves himself to his dad, then the birds would love him.
Hmm.
But no, so I thought I could kind of predict where this movie was going. And then suddenly second evil ape tribe shows up, burns down the main character's village and kills his dad. And
Hmm.
it's at that point in the movie where I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happening anymore. I cannot
Hmm.
predict this. Everything I thought is out the window. Sure.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, really cool plotline there. Kind of love that his dad died. And again, like they didn't resolve anything, but they were fighting together against the gorilla.
Yeah,
And you
that was
could
cool.
tell they love each other. They're working together. They work well together. But there's just their inability to express their love for each other. I just really loved
Hmm.
that. And then the whole time he's like, "No, my dad was the master of birds. I can't do it. I don't know." Until he and I fasting forward to the end of the movie here. I just love the transformation he goes through where like what was his girlfriend's name? Suna?
Suna, I believe. Yeah.
It's something along those lines for sure.
Yeah.
And she like looks at him and goes, "You're different." And he just kind of has this awakening where like just because this is the way
Hmm.
the world is doesn't mean that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
he's gonna bring it back to the way it's supposed to be, a la Caesar. And it is just where he realizes I can't fight back; it's against the law. No, the law's wrong. I've got to fight back, and that's when he learns to command the eagles. And okay, can we talk about the climax? You take a turn, but let's talk about the climax.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The climax, man, because that might be something. I felt like I could kind of predict how the story was going to play out, how things were going to go.
Mm.
But the second we start planting the charges to like blow open the dam and like flood the bunker, I'm like, I feel like we're approaching the third act quicker than I thought we were, so that might be a point against me where the pacing felt off, but it ended up resolving in a climax that I just didn't see coming. So I appreciated that. But that entire third act where we're just running through the bunker,
Hmm.
and we get to the fight with the gorilla, and everyone else has gone up. Noah's like, no, I gotta do this. I gotta
Yeah.
avenge my father. And yeah, it's such a fun fight. It feels like almost reminiscent of like the Hulk when he goes Hulk on the
Hmm.
helicarrier in the first Avengers. It's like dark and close quarters, and you got this big hulking figure, and he traps him. He Noah's like, I got this. Let me trap this
He not
fucker.
just traps him, he then watches
Hmm.
him drown.
Yeah,
Like
and I wanna.
it's a cold murder that he didn't do.
He didn't do, and I picked up on that right away. I'm like, he's trying to follow in the footsteps of Caesar. He didn't
Yeah.
kill this gorilla. He's just watching.
Yep.
Um,
He's just leading
it,
him to kill himself.
And you could argue, like in Batman Begins, at the end of that, did he kill Ra's al Ghul? I don't know, but regardless, I do want to point out when the gorilla was like trying to gasp for air, was reaching through the pipes, like the CGI on that was like actually really fucking good.
Yeah. No, this
I
entire movie
was,
was beautiful.
well, I won't say it was all beautiful, but that shot in
Okay,
particular was like really
The
good.
Eagles could have used a little bit of work, but
Eagles, hmm
aside from them, I don't have any actual notable complaints.
there were some bigger shots like when they were climbing in the beginning where it's like that's all clearly CG, but
Oh,
it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a deal
uh,
breaker, but
that so the one issue I have with the climax and just,
mhm.
the plot in general is we're trying to burst open these doors and pull them and use dynamite and horses. Like, I get it. We're trying to open the doors. We didn't think to just maybe look around the back for a back door. Like, how long have we been here that you just didn't check around the back
Hmm.
where it's a wide open opening? I don't know. It's not a huge plot hole. It's
No,
plausible. They just didn't think to look back there, but you didn't think to look back there?
I mean, maybe it could be one of those things where Noah's tribe, being the Eagle tribe, are used to being vertical and climbing all the time. That Proximus and his group didn't even think about it, you know?
Yeah, no, that's why I'm not calling it a plot hole
Hmm.
necessarily. It doesn't detract from the movie. I don't know. Caesar felt like a smart, competent guy, or Caesar Proximus. He calls
Hmm.
himself Caesar. I just feel like he would have looked around the back, but not
Yeah.
major. But we escape the bunker. We're on the cliff outside by the back door, and it's time for the showdown between Caesar or Proximus and Noah. And Noah just gets the absolute ever living hell beat out of him. He's
Yeah.
just like at one point Caesar's like, "Now get up so you can bow to me." And he rolls over and
Hmm.
just blood pours out of his mouth. And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
guy. Oh, you're looking rough." And he just starts that like humming grunting, and then
Yeah, it was so
yeah.
cool, dude.
And then it kind of spreads where his mom's doing it with him, then his friends, and then the whole clan is. And then just at their commands, the eagles are swooping in and pecking at his eyes and
Hmm.
scratching him and clawing him. And he starts to fight back against the eagles, throws one or two of them to the ground, but they just keep coming, and the birds are pushing him off the cliff. And he falls and he falls, and you know exactly where it's going as soon as they start a
Hmm.
fight on the end of a cliff. But man, it was just such a cool. It when it first started, I was like, okay, this is a little tacky, it's a little played, but it still came off so cool at the full climax.
No, as soon as he started doing the song, I'm like, oh, here we fucking go.
Yeah, no. See, I didn't know where it was going. I didn't realize the song like commanded the Eagles or that's how they spoke to him.
Mm.
I thought they just sang to the Eagles and he's gonna like sing here and inspire the clan. Like, no, we are the Eagle clan. Let's stand up to him. I didn't see the birds coming into play. I thought they were just kind of an inspiration.
Hmm.
But yeah, that it's when the birds actually started swooping in that I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. No,
Big
it was a
fan. Big
really
fan.
good payoff. Hmm. Because that was a sticking point for me before he started doing the song. I was like, why aren't the rest of his tribe helping him? Is Proximus that intimidating? I don't know.
I mean, he
But
definitely is a significantly larger chimp than anyone else.
yeah, I guess. I don't know.
So the one thing
Yeah.
this movie got wrong from an ecological standpoint that I did my best to look past, the chimps are downplayed in terms of strength so significantly. Like
Mm-hmm.
when he's running from the gorilla, I don't know, one-on-one fight, I might take the chimp. Uh,
Yeah.
There was a couple of scenes where like I don't remember the exact context. They were fighting on the bridge and stuff. Man, chimp ain't go down that easy. Chimp get
Hmm.
right back up. They are one of the scariest animals I have ever seen.
Yeah. No, and there are definitely a couple of moments where I had that thought. I'm like, I think chimps are stronger than this,
Oh,
but all
like
right, we'll roll with it.
significantly. Like
Yeah,
they are the most fearsome ape in my opinion. That
they're
being
terrifying.
said, so while we're fighting the gorilla, there's a scene in the climax where we both fall into the water,
Hmm.
and Noah kind of props up and he like grabs a piece of metal. I'm like, okay, sure, I believe that. You floated real quick. The gorilla then reveals he's already gotten out of the water. He jumps back on top of it. And I was like, no. Gorilla goes in the water. They like are notorious. Chimps can't swim because they're too top heavy.
Yeah.
Gorillas are like 6 times as top heavy. You're just sinking. There is no keeping you above water. You did not
So
pull
that's
yourself out immediately.
so that's one thing Marky Mark and the Monkey Bunch got right.
Yeah,
They
no,
can't
they
swim.
no. Okay, so in that movie, I just watched my own review, so I'm it's a little fresh in my mind.
Hmm.
They can't swim, but they're not fucking fearful of water. They didn't approach a river and were like, ah, shit, a river. Like they
No, no,
still
no.
drink water.
They can't swim. That's why they pray every day for rain.
They lived in a city with a waterfall. That part drove me insane because, like, yes, they
Same.
can't swim, but they're not afraid of it.
They're not, yeah.
Anyhow,
Back to a good movie.
but yeah, so that part bugged me a little, but I was able like whatever. Fine, the fight
Hmm.
doesn't end because he drowns, except then it does.
Yeah, true.
Uh, but yeah, I did like the human girl character as a standalone. I think she had a great plan of we can't let them have all these weapons. We got to flood the base when they open it. So they go to open it, they
Hmm.
set the charges, and she has a plan with Caesar. It's like run out, grab your family, get out of here. I'm blowing the dam.
Yeah.
Uh, and I have to admit, I did like it when the plan failed. It's revealed that Proximus was onto them, so they don't have time to get Caesar's family out of the way. And she's still like, "Well, I'm just gonna drown you guys with it, I guess, because I can't die either, or can't let humanity die, whatever."
Hmm.
So I do like it. It's a just portrayal. It's not like she was scared and gave up on them. It's like I still got to stick to my part of the plan. I'm sorry that you die now. Really interested to see where the relationship goes because I can only imagine they drift further and further apart. I can't imagine they reunite at the end of this.
Yeah. And I'll be very curious when he gave her Raka's necklace. I'm like, oh, that's gonna come back somehow.
Oh
It's
yeah,
gonna
no.
come back.
Like you, what I love is he did that as a gesture of good faith while
Hmm.
she is holding a gun behind her back in case something happens. Like it's just proving again, chimps, apes are willing to work with humans. Can humans and apes live together? She says, I don't know, while shaking her head no. Like she is
Hmm.
absolutely prepared to eradicate them off the face of the earth. He is extending a hand of peace.
Hmm.
Mm, I,
It's
that all
it's
being
good.
said, as cool as that setup is, I just wish the humans were gone. It's been at least 300 years since the last movie. It's been that series went on for how many years and humans were already severely diminished? No, just come on.
Yeah. But I am intrigued how there are still humans this far in the future that could still talk and still do stuff.
Not just still do stuff, they have like intricate technological understanding at multiple camps
Hmm.
across the world. You're telling me you have all this? Assumably, there's someone with a bigger base out there, like, I don't know, Washington, D.C. or something. They haven't just, like, sent helicopters or planes or drones just around the world to see where these other human camps are and move to them. Now, I don't buy that we're this well equipped and we still haven't reconnected with each other.
Hmm.
Like somehow we're managing to survive in quote unquote luxury, but we're still supposed to be the underdogs? No. You have full power and equipment. Shut up. Live underground.
Shut up.
I did
So weird.
like actually that reminds me. So when we got to the bunker,
Hmm.
I don't know how familiar you are with the original trilogy, but it looks eerily
Quite.
similar to one of the bunkers I think they go to in the second one, beneath the Planet of the Apes, and
Hmm.
then we go back to it in battle. But I'm not saying it's exactly that bunker, but it was pretty cool to be like, oh, so this is, where the mutants live and all that.
Yeah, and I wondered if they were going in that direction, and then obviously that's not where things went. But
Think it kind of would have been cool. I like break in there, we're turning on the power to blow the dam and stuff. And then it
hmm
turns out there's mutant humans down here and they're going to launch their rebellion against the apes. That'd be a fun plot line. I don't need fully functioning regular humans. Give me those mutants again. That was I don't want to say fun. That was probably the worst part of the original
I
movies.
was gonna say that was
But
yeah,
it's a fun idea.
it is,
It
and I was
just
just thinking
plays
about
so
it
poorly.
because like I was just thinking about that because like I have a fondness for the original movies, even if they are a little weird and campy. But
Yeah.
like I was thinking, how do we get the mutants in there?
I
Like
don't
I
think we're
even thought
going
they might
to.
get there at like the last of the original reboot trilogy. I'm like, maybe we'll do it there with Woody Harrelson or something. We didn't, but
No, so
I'm
just
like,
drop a bomb at the end of the next movie and then give me mutants
there
in
you
the
go.
third. Come on.
And I had a thought because I'm like this like the first three of these this original of this reboot series, whatever you want to call it, feels pretty grounded. And then we
Hmm.
get to this one, still feels like it's a continuation of that. I'm like, well, wait, shut up. These are talking monkeys. None of this actually makes any sense. So yes, go ahead, do the mutants.
Yeah. No, but you're right. It does feel realistic for what could happen in a Planet of the Apes world.
hmm
Uh,
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I think we covered all of the bases. Is there anything we're missing?
I want to talk about Proximus real quick
Go for it.
because like I love him. I think he was super charismatic. The actor behind him did a really good job. I
Hmm.
think he needed more to do. I wasn't threatened by him.
I Yes, you're not wrong. However, I wouldn't change him. Um, you're
I
not
wouldn't change
threatened
him.
by him, but in theory, you're not supposed to be because Noah is the primary protagonist. And
hmm
Proximus, sure, he's kidnapping these clans and making them worship him. But in his own way, he's doing it for the benefit of apes, where he wants to
Yeah.
get in there, take that technology, and make ape kind insanely great. Granted, for his own glory. And he's going about it all wrong, sacrificing their lives and whatnot. But he wasn't a threat. He wasn't trying to eradicate chimps. He wasn't trying to put down rebellion. He was just the one who's going to dominate all and take over the world in the name of apes. Uh,
Yeah.
his plan was the humans are going to fight back if they get a hold of this. We need to fight back first, which made for a great dynamic with Noah and May, where he's admits at the end Proximus wasn't wrong. Like humans are a problem we have to deal with, but at the same time, I can't let him go about it in a way that hurts apes just as badly.
Yeah. But I wouldn't necessarily change anything about him. I just need more of him. I don't think he had enough screen time to justify being that final climactic battle at the end.
No,
That's
see,
just my sticking point.
I think he did just because like he didn't have a lot of screen time, but although he called himself Caesar, we could very clearly see he stands in direct opposition to
Yeah.
Caesar. So I don't think we needed anything besides we know this isn't the way it's supposed to be, and Noah has found out the way it's supposed to be and is going to make it as such. I think he was a
No,
fine
none of
villain.
it.
I don't think he was fantastic, but I think he played the role he was supposed to play as well as he could have played it.
It's yeah, no, and I completely agree. Like I said, wouldn't change a thing about him. I just want more scenes with him. I think build him up a little bit more before we get to that final fight. That's just it.
Disagree.
Well, you're wrong. It's fine. No,
That's okay. No, it's fine. It's fine.
it's fine. It's
Man, I was gonna add on to something else when you brought up Proximus, but I forget what. I did. I liked that he wasn't just one of the things I really credit this franchise with, and the reboot trilogy not so much, but especially the originals always had really compelling villains. Who Doctor Zaius in the first one isn't just a dick for no reason. It's the humanities are the harbingers of death. The second one doesn't make sense. We don't have to talk about that.
no, we don't have to talk
The
about that.
third one, they're being hunted by the government official guy, not because he's a dick, but because he's like they're hiding something and they probably come from a world where they dissect humans. We gotta not let this happen. The fourth one, the governor probably not the best way to go about it, but knew they had to prevent a slave uprising by oppressing the slaves harder. The fifth one, again, doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, we don't need to talk
But
about that.
Proximus, yes, he's going about it in the worst way, sacrificing ape life and doing it for his own glory, but he's doing it to make sure humanity cannot rise up and come back and take the planets from the apes. I love these compelling villains where it's like, I have a
Hmm.
reason for what I'm doing. It makes sense. I'm just a dick.
Hmm. Now, for the record, I think Koba is the best villain the series has ever produced, and you didn't mention him, so it's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
It's fine. Let's see.
disagree on best. Don't disagree that he's good. Like, he was a fine villain. I was definitely more thinking the human villains because the first
Oh, sure.
one's stupid beyond all hell, and the third one is just let's kill the apes.
Woody Harrelson's awesome. You don't know what you're talking about.
Not a great villain, not a great character.
He's not my
Anywho,
favorite villain, but anyway,
anywho,
yeah,
yeah, he
we're off
wasn't
topic.
like absurdly bad, but I love
I
that
like
the
him a lot.
series routinely produces compelling villains.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Uh, let's see. I do want to mention how the movie starts on Caesar's funeral,
That
real
was
quick
nice.
too.
That was nice.
Yeah, like you had the text on the dark screen, and then you cut to Caesar's funeral, and I think that was a really strong starting point because you just
Hmm.
feel Caesar's like legacy throughout this entire movie,
Yep.
like particularly through Rocca and Noah, but just in general, like I thought that was a really good place to start. Um,
I
I
did
also want to shout
love
out the music.
the little subtleties where the apes had fully formed speech but still did a lot of sign language.
Still doing,
But
yeah, a lot of their grunts too.
then we get over to Raka and he's speaking not in full sentences necessarily, but he's using bigger syllabled words. And
Hmm.
Noah's kind of speaking simply when they meet, but by the time they part ways, R.I.P. To the real homie. He's using bigger words and more complex thoughts. I love that the orangutans are the most intelligent ones. The chimps are fairly intelligent also. And then
Hmm.
they utilize the gorillas as dumb brutes, and that's just a problem this franchise has. They are,
That's always been a thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's not this movie, that's not this trilogy.
Nope.
They just don't know how to use gorillas on screen, besides they're a big hulking mass.
Hmm.
Anywho, but I just love that as Noah gets smarter and spends time with the orangutan, uh, he learns how to speak in larger words and more complex thoughts. Like, he
Hmm.
always had the intelligence, but now he can express it better. It's just a great transition from him as child to leader.
Right. Yeah, I really like that too. His whole journey throughout this movie was just really well played out, I
Yeah,
think.
no, and it's just the pacing was good.
Hmm.
I loved this movie.
Big thumbs up. Big thumbs.
Now, Mandy unfortunately didn't get to go see it with me, so I'm probably gonna have to go see this one again, and I ain't
Hey,
mad about
hey.
that.
Hey, hey.
But guys, that's gonna do it for our thoughts on the movie. Hope you stuck around until the end. If you want to see more movie and trailer reviews like this in the future, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned because we come at you with these all the time. Cannot wait for the next Planet of the Apes movie. If you guys want to, see more content like this in the future, would really help if you hit that like button. Helps the channel grow. Always feel free to get engaged in the comment section. Let us know what opinions you're wrong about in the comments, and we'll tell you why you're wrong. Because if they're not ours, you're inherently wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are
Some.
the official, definitive voice of all opinions ever.
Mhm.
But that's going to do it for us this time, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Stay cool, stay tuned. We'll see you next time.